All right, everybody, how are you today? Happy Tuesday to you. Aaron here with your daily horoscope for Tuesday, the 15th of October, 2019. We've got an exciting day. All right, we've got Mercury over there in Scorpio at 16 degrees, making a perfect water trine over there to Neptune in Pisces at 16 degrees. All right, now we still have this like grand water trine and kite formation happening. Now that formation I've been talking about for the past like 2 days, and it's going to continue all the way to the 23rd of October. Okay, so this is going on for more than 2 more weeks. All right. So this energy is continuing to go deep inside, to find our truest passions. All right, digging those passions up, bringing them to the surface, and allowing the expansion to happen using our imagination, using our dreams to make those bigger. Okay, and then using our emotional compass, following that north and saying like, look, if I apply myself, if I apply my dreams and use my imagination, if I sink down to the deepest of what I need, what an Aaron needs or what a you needs, we can structure this, we can redefine this. That's what Saturn's doing up there in Capricorn with the South Node. We're letting go, we're releasing, and we're restructuring, recreating new. So again, that's going to be happening all the way through the 23rd. So I don't want to continue to like hammer on that every single day. Just bringing that up because it's very relevant, and we'll still touch base on it here and there. But that energy is going on, so we have like a complete remakeover over the next 2 weeks. And the moon is still in Taurus, which is exciting. It's exalted in Taurus, right? Stable. The moon is stable. And we have this energy to keep on going. Okay. I don't know about you, but I've had like no sleep in the past 4 days, but yet, the energy's still there. It's like, all right, we can just keep not stacking it on to where we become ill. We can just keep going. We have the motivation, the strength, the determination to just keep getting the job done. That stable Taurus. And the emotional moon is, again, stable. So we're not too rocky. We're not too all over the place. We're just kind of getting done what we got to get done. And Taurus, again, is about traditions. It's about money and material possessions, things. And then we have Uranus in there. Now, the moon was exact on Monday, an exact conjunction with Uranus. And here on Tuesday, Monday night into Tuesday morning, it's still creating, they're still connecting together. There's still, there's a relationship that exists still. And this is like a lingering reminding, that it's like painful change, but necessary change. One way to look at it is it's like, I don't know if it's like losing a limb. You're like, I've had this here my whole life. Or crutch. I've been using these crutches. It's not, say, losing a limb. Broke your foot and you've been on these crutches for so long that it's like, putting your first step down is painful. We've gotten used to this additional way to carry us. Our shoulders are up here, and there's a emotion, there's a speed to it, and now it's back to one foot in front of the other, and it's just like, well, maybe I'm a little slower now, or maybe I'm more clunky now, and there can be like, hey, I really want that crutch back. It's like, yeah, no, we can't. We have to let them go. So we can learn to run again. And that's what we're doing. We're, relearning how to walk, relearning how to run, and getting to where we need to go. Another way to look at it is like through like a window. We've got this window of a world out here. And further, let me show you here. Let me just show, I don't think I've showed you the chart yet. Oops. Okay, so here's our grand water trine. Okay. Again, between Mercury and Venus, Venus starts to catch up to Mercury here around I think the 30th, they conjunct, and on the 31st, of course, on Halloween, Mercury starts its retrograde cycle at 27 degrees and starts to move backward for the next 3 weeks, again, which is going to keep Mercury in Scorpio for a very, very long time, very uncomfortably long time. And speaking of uncomfortable, let's just tap on that. One, before I get into uncomfortableness, Mars is still creating the quintile to Jupiter. Venus has now started Venus, our love, our wants, our desires, the things that make us feel, not only other people, but things. And, here in Scorpio, we're rediscovering what those, the deeper, the shadow side, Scorpio has to do with the shadow side of stuff. And re-falling in love with the shadow side of our, of ourselves and our things, and, rediscovery and all this cool stuff. And this connection to Pluto here, this quintile to Pluto, it's a very creative way we're changing so much. We're changing the game. We're changing, our approach to things. We are changing. That's as simple as that. We are changing and re-falling in love with life, and not saying like, oh, well, because this is happening and this is happening and this is happening, it's given me reason why I can't find my own happiness. No, it's like our internal happiness is number one. Our connection with our breath, our connection with spirit, source energy is number one, and then we go out into the world, and we are our own medicine. We are the sun. We are our own power. And we bring our medicine to the world, right? So we're re-falling in love with ourselves, our own medicine. What is our own deep internal medicine, And now we get to change how we interact and bring this to the world and present this to people, which is a really beautiful thing. So, that window thing, the uncomfortableness, uncomfortability into comfortability. It's like looking to the window outside, and it's like, okay, well, here in Detroit, you see me, I'm getting bundled up now. It's getting chilly, okay? I was the only one at work didn't have a coat on today, and people are like, aren't you freezing? Like, I'm practicing my Wim Hof. I've got a hoodie on at least, or whatever, long sleeve shirt. But it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable to be outside in that cold, so it made me, breathe strong and deep into my diaphragm, breathing deep into your belly. Deep, right? And then that adds the warmth. That shallow breathing, surface breathing, up here, fight or flight, okay? We don't bring it down. We don't bring the warmth into our bellies. All right, so it's getting cold here in Detroit anyway. All right, now you look outside and it's beautiful. Grass is green, all the colors on the leaves. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's really comfortable inside the house. It's warm, it's cozy, I got layers on, favorite music or movie on or whatever, favorite candle is lit, or sage or Palo Santo, all the good smells, all the good feels. Very comfortable in our environment. But it's on fire. It's like the classic Richard Pryor smoking crack and catches the house on fire. Okay? The house is on fire and it's burning down. It's warm and it's comfortable. And outside is cold. Not all your things are out there. Your things are inside. All your comfort pieces, all the things, Venus, all those things are changing. They're burning, they're melting. And we can stay in this warmth, we can stay in this comfortability, or we can get out. We can choose to walk through the door. And it's a choice. Let's look at this in another way. Okay? The house is not burning down. You're warm and you're comfortable. Sitting on the couch, listening to your favorite music, your favorite movie, favorite smells, whatever, right? Your child's outside, or your loved one, whomever, your dog, your cat, gets out, and there's a speeding car. We're going to put ourselves, the light switch turns on, and we put ourselves in that uncomfortable moment. Maybe not for ourselves, but for someone else at that point in time when we're talking about our children, our loved one, our cat, or our dog. It's just like, it's very easy. We don't even think about it. You don't even have to think about it. Of course I'm going to run outside. I don't care if I'm half naked, dripping wet, towel around me. I'm going to go out there to make sure that kid or cat or dog's not going to get hit by the car or whatever is going on outside. You know what I mean? But it's like we are so comfortable where we're at. We're comfortable in the lives we live, but there's a deeper truth. That deeper truth is it's not sustainable. The deeper truth is something has to change. The deeper truth is there's something calling us out. There's something calling us outside. And we're sitting there him and hawing over it. We've been him and hawing over it this entire year. you know? And this Scorpio season's really, really stirring stuff up. It's bringing the stuff down, you know, and bringing it up into the light to where we cannot ignore it anymore, okay? Which is why the house on fire is a great analogy, or something going so extreme to this, you know, car or some catastrophe. And it's just like bringing our attention to get out of our comfort zone and applying ourselves, our talents, our skills, and our medicine to the world, you know. But sometimes we don't know how strong we are until we're faced with those scenarios. We don't know our own strength sometimes, you know. It's just like, do you remember that story of like the mom that her kid was trapped under a car and she just lifted up the van? You can't think about doing that. You know what I mean? You can't think about doing that. You can't tap into that. You know what I mean? This has to be done. We have to change. We have to lift this car up. It's not a question of how much the car weighs, how much strength I have, physics. None of that matters. Your ability, her ability to lift a car. Do you think she was practicing car lifting that week prior? No, you know. It's something that happens. It's an urge. It's a calling. And we're being called out. We're being called out. We're being called to go deeper. We're being called to be nurturing to ourselves and to others. First ourselves. And once we heal self, then we can apply this to the other. And the sun is still in Libra. Mars is still in Libra. So there's still this great connection with self and others. It's going to be happening for, you know, months. I mean, again, we're entering the other half of the zodiac. So in Libra, it's a balance between you and I. What's good for me? What's good for you? Can we find that happy medium? In Scorpio, it's like shared resources. You know, you have this and I have this. I've got corn, you have bread. Together we can eat a meal, you know. My brother has water, I have food, or I have shelter. You know, it's coming to be a harvest time. You know, it's a time where we get together, where we stop being so selfish and having our own individual fires because we're going to light our house on fire. You know, we need to have the community fire. We get together, you know, otherwise it's like we burn too much wood. It's not efficient. You know what I mean? So we have to have that community fire, the communal fire. So we have to have this community going on. Then we get into Sagittarius, and it's about the knowledge. Now we share these, you know, these stories around the campfire of our experiences, where we've been and how we're going about, and our trials and errors and tribulations. And then wintertime comes, and we'll get there, you know. But you know what I'm saying? But it's still like Capricorn and like the work season and how we work together. Then the Aquarius is about the community, and then the final journey of Pisces before we go back into self, and Aries and applying self in the springtime of, okay, well, what am I going to do this year? How am I going to do it differently than I did last year? And, you know, so this next several months is all about the others and the relationship with others. And the sun and Mars in Libra is just very potent right now. And definitely to be acknowledged, to be respected in our relationships, you know. And again, with Mercury and Venus in Scorpio and our shared resources, and it's just like coming together to make something larger than what we have or can individually. And the moon over there in Taurus is like we have the ability to. We have the ability to put the crutches down and slowly learn to walk again. You know, it's like going back to physical therapy, you know, or starting physical therapy after an injury. You know, it's just like we can cradle and baby that injury as long as we want. But if we want to heal, if we want to get back out on the ball field, or get back to work, or get back to, you know, the joy of living life freely, you know, those are necessary steps to take to get that work done, to get us to where we got to go. Let me come back here for a second. We'll just look at it together, see if there's anything I missed. So not only is Mercury, you know, trine here, This is really beautiful. This is our beautiful expansion today, because it's about information coming in that really has the opportunity and ability to start this growth and expansion. And again, this is magic, my friends. These sextiles right here to Saturn is just the pure magic of life. You know, it's like this documentary I watched, Air, but it was about bread. So random. And this is like the key ingredient to bread is air. It was really neat, and they showed this old way of making sourdough bread. I think it was a docuseries or something on Netflix. And it's just like it was stirring the bread. It's like you can have the yeast and the flour, whatever, and the water, but until you stir it, until you move it around and add the particles of air, the elements of air, is when it starts, to give it its shape and form and breathe life into it. So we got to breathe life into this stuff. All right. So we're good. And then further, Sun's still squaring Pluto. Still squaring Pluto. So this is going back to like the other thing, the other people. Really, 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 really important that we change the way of our not only compassion, that's like the south node aspect or the north node aspect, but transforming our relationships in the sense that, again, I tapped on it yesterday, revisiting that same concept of was this done here and now for this reason? Is there a different way I can look at this right now? It's really, really important to do that. It's really, really important, wrapping this video up. It's like we still try to see things from other people's perspective, other people's point of view. Because, the whole lot changes when we apply that knowledge, when we apply that understanding. That's just like, again, the tiger's just doing the tiger and the zebra's doing the zebra. And it's not fair to the zebra that it's being eaten, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't want to keep going over that. But I mean, it's where we have to change the way that we view some of these things as right or wrong, good or bad, angels and demons, heaven and hell, and all of this dualistic nature. There is no. It's like there's heat and an absence of heat. We call that absence of heat cold. There's light and there's an absence of light. We call that absence of light darkness, or the shadow. Okay? It's not necessarily two things, but we look at it that way. We look at the light. We always have. The light is this, the good, and every day Set and Ra battle each other, and, the darkness takes over the night, and the night takes over, and it's just like we've been ingrained with this dualistic thing that there's this right and wrong, and we're being asked right now, this Mercury trine to Neptune, to really see the bigger picture and expand that information that's like, hey, everything happens for a reason, or we give a reason for everything happening, and everything is as it's supposed to be. Nothing is okay, so it's okay. You're perfectly where you're supposed to be right now in life. Back to that Osho quote. I love it. You are perfect yet ever expanding in a perfect yet ever expanding world, in a perfect yet ever expanding universe. All right? So have a perfectly expanding day. We'll see you tomorrow.